Well, hi there, everybody. Good morning. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here on this Thursday morning where we have a warm front in the process of lifting northeast through the area. We've got some very, very minor light icing this morning and maybe a little light snow mixed in here over north central to northeast Nebraska. This will be shifting eastward here out ahead of the front. This front will be stalling out, though, with time. Southwest of it, a little more sunshine here compared to farther northeast, and it's going to be much warmer here. Most of us will warm up quite a bit today, but it's going to be a struggle in northeast Nebraska. And let me take you through about noon or so. And you'll see that front. It moves to about O'Neill and Lincoln through about noon. And that's about as far as it progresses northeastward. So anybody northeast of that boundary, much chillier than everybody else south and west of that boundary. Low pressure system starts to move in from the north, and that'll drag a cold front into our area later this afternoon. So we'll get some sunshine, but thicker clouds up north. Look for, behind that front, increasing cloud cover and a shift of our winds. Not terribly cold tonight, but a second front coming through will reinforce the cold air, which means we will not warm up much tomorrow. Mostly or mainly cloudy skies for your day on Friday. A little light snow starting the day in northwest Nebraska. As we go through the day, that'll spread across northern Nebraska. So later in the day, maybe a little light snow in north central Nebraska. And then that will kind of become a little more prevalent into Friday evening. The rest of us, lots of clouds, maybe a little sun here, and then maybe a little sun back to the west, but a lot of clouds for a lot of us. Heading into tomorrow night, Friday night, that snow spreading across northern Nebraska. Grand Island, you are right on the edge of that chance. I'm going to go with a 20% chance for GI, but I think Hastings and Kearney miss out. North Platte, nothing here. So again, you draw a line from about Gordon, Chadron area to Grand Island and Lincoln. That's where our snow looks to fall, north of there. So the snow will continue as midnight, Friday night to Saturday morning. As we start off our weekend, still some snow, but notice it shifts northeastward, so it's mostly going to be in our northeastern communities. The rest of us cloudy and cold as we get a blast of Arctic air heading into the weekend. So snowfall amounts as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning. Maybe up to as high as 1 to 3 inches across north central and northeast Nebraska, places like Ainsworth and O'Neill and Valentine and Atkinson, Norfolk, Fremont. Maybe I'd say under an inch, so maybe a half inch or so around Thedford and Ord, Albion, maybe even a little bit more than that. Lincoln, trace amounts of snowfall, maybe 100 or a tenth of an inch there, but again, I don't expect anything to really accumulate around Grand Island south and westward, North Platte south and westward. No accumulation expected in those locations there. All right, temperatures. First off, we have a chance to tie and break some records today. I want to point out mostly these temperatures here. I think we'll see some broken records here, or at least some tied records here. Kearney, your record is 66. We're going to be really close. I am not so sure about Hastings and Grand Island. These areas won't be as warm today. Valentine, we won't get to 76. But North Platte, we're going to be very close. Imperial, McCook, pretty close later today. Here's my forecast. Again, this would break a record in Imperial and McCook. This would tie a record in North Platte. Kearney, you would be 1 degree shy of the record there. It's an unofficial number here. You saw that it's not on my map here. These are all the places that keep track of official numbers, by the way. Kearney, it's an unofficial number of 66. So, again, not all places do keep track of records, but that is our records for today. Those are our records for today. This is my forecast high. And again, lots of 60s, even near 70 in the southwest. 50s here, but then look at that on the other side of that warm front, much chillier in northeast and eastern portions of Nebraska. They don't get the bask in the warmth. You know, I started my career in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is right here. And that winter that I worked there, I spent a year in Sioux Falls. That winter was so much colder than what most of Nebraska saw. I kept being so jealous of all my friends and family living in Nebraska because they had so much nicer weather. We never warmed up that winter, and the snow stayed on the ground for 4 months straight. It never completely melted. But then I would see days where it got in the 60s and near 70 in the wintertime in Nebraska at times. Yeah. That happens a lot, and that's certainly something that's happening on a day like today. I'm going to jump ahead to tonight's forecast, 20s and 30s as the cold front comes through. Tomorrow, much, much cooler. Highs in the 20s, 30s, some 40s still in the southwest. We're still in that northwest flow, so the warmest temperatures in the southwest, coldest in the northeast. It's going to get colder. Friday night down into the single digits, teens, and 20s for lows. Our coldest day comes on Saturday. It's going to be a struggle for many. Highs staying in the single digits up here to the north. Teens for a lot of us, near 20 in Hastings. 20s and some 30s as you go farther to the south and west. This will be the coldest day, the coldest night. Saturday night, single digits and even below zero. Thankfully, not too much wind, but it will be very cold out there. Teens below zero up here in far northeast Nebraska. Some teens out west into the southwest here, not as cold. And Sunday starts to warm up out west. Look at that out west, 40s and 50s already. The rest of us, not quite as nice. We'll see highs, maybe not even getting out of the teens in eastern Nebraska. 20s for a lot of us, some 30s in here. But again, much warmer air out west, and that warmth will spread back east early next week. In fact, look at that long-range forecast. Again, great today. Upper 50s, low to mid-60s in the Tri-Cities. Much colder tomorrow, even colder yet on Saturday night. Sunday, slightly better. Much better Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Beyond that, it might cool down a little bit beyond Wednesday, but we're still looking at above average temperatures for the rest of next week as we wrap up the fall season next Saturday. So not a bad way to end the fall season here. What comes beyond that? There are some signs of maybe some chillier air to come as we approach the Christmas holiday. North Platte, near a record high today. Much chillier tomorrow with a lot of clouds around, even colder yet on Saturday with mostly cloudy skies. More sun on Sunday. We'll try to warm up a little bit after that cold start, and then much better Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Beyond that, again, maybe a little bit of a cool down later next week, although we could still see warm back up on Friday of next week here. But again, we're going to keep those temperatures above average most of next week, all the way through next Saturday. What comes beyond that, there are some signs of maybe some colder air as we get towards early the following week, which is Christmas week. There are some signs of maybe some colder air to come. But for now, leading up to Christmas Eve anyway, that Thursday through Wednesday time frame, the Climate Prediction Center has us above average. What I'm seeing is maybe around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, this right here may start to sink southward, but much of the country going to be very warm next week, including us, but even warmer yet to the south and southwest. We'll be looking at some of that warmth there, as I'll show you in just a bit. Precipitation-wise, and I've heard it on the Today Show this morning already, talking about some severe flooding going on in the northwest U.S. Well, that's going to continue. That's a weather pattern that's going to continue to bring moisture, and a lot of moisture, including rainfall, to these northwestern areas. So not great weather there. Most of the moisture shifts to our north, so it stays north of us, so we won't see a ton of moisture over the next several days. Really, our main chance, I think, is going to come Friday night and Saturday in northern Nebraska, and then next week, maybe late in the week, a little bit of moisture to come here. But you can see, again, a little of that light moisture this morning in the northeast. Here comes the snow tomorrow, and especially tomorrow night into Saturday morning for northern and eastern Nebraska. But then after that, not much in store until maybe around next Thursday or Friday. But even then, I don't see a whole lot for our area right now, as everything still kind of stays to our north at this point. Well, I got to let you all go for today. I want to thank you all for watching on this Thursday morning. I'll be back with you on Friday with all the latest. Until then, take care and God bless. Talk to you all later. Bye.